sorry. Welcome to the IML 1v1 league. Today we have 0-4 against D3adShot on the first map Suburbia. It's been a bit of a rush start, but we are starting.
It's going to be looking like the burning house up objective. D3adShot making his way, going directly to it. Not going to be bothering lane 1.
Looks like they could end up meeting quickly on lane 3. 0-4 is pushing very aggressive into playground.
D3adShot holding his ground on the north road. 0-4 taking quite a nice spot there. He's covered from lane 4, but can watch the crossing. But he has got to be careful if there is a lane 1 push from D3adShot, although unlikely. Iron sight set up from 0-4 with a D3adShot on the AK-5C Hollow, standard meta loadout. And D3adShot still has a lot of time, 4 minutes. He's going to be making his way to that wide lane 4. Looking for anybody looking long from that green tank. 0-4 is just going to patiently hold his spot and wait for audio, it seems.
Looks like we've got some slow gameplay from the two of them here.
Yeah. It's going to be quite the brawl. D3adShot, quite a solid player, fighting his teammate, NFI. If anybody knows each other as well, it would be teammates on the same team, how they play, what spots they sit in, how they peak, essentially. So it could be interesting if we could see any reads come out from the two people here today. 0-4 looking like he's going to divert from his spot. He's committing quite hard. D3adShot's not exposed to him, but with D3adShot making some noise. 0-4 is aware of his presence. Flash goes out. He thinks he's close. 0-4 is going to be taking the wide lane. Quite short throws, but D3adShot is going to rotate very far and wide into lane 2. 3 minutes left on the clock. He has a lot of time to do what he wants, make the suitable rotations, but 0-4 is going to crash back to uplink. It seems that 0-4 has read D3adShot's moves and how far he's actually gone, which is quite a smart rotate from 0-4. He's going to be swinging wide, might swing into D3adShot's peak. It could be quite hard for him to play this, especially as he's going to get sidewinded by D3adShot. 0-4 quite out in the open.
Yeah, the timings on this, had D3adShot stayed in the spot he was in 10 seconds previously, he would have seen 0-4 here.
And 0-4 gets the drop on D3adShot. Nasty rotate.
0-4 seemed to read what D3adShot was doing there quite well. That could be due to the fact that they are teammates, they know how each other play in depth.
D3adShot was taking a lot of time to actually get power positions there, which led 0-4 to be able to rotate suitably to counter him.
Good first round anyway, some good moves from both of them.
That was some good reads from the two.
Yeah, we'll be moving on to D3adShot's defense now.
If you don't know, Onward is an utterly game mode where you have to send the code. Oh man. It's two quite high up players. NFI been making waves this season, getting themselves into Masters and almost into the finals of that Challengers Cup, which is not an easy feat. Unfortunately, did choke it against Raptors, but that was quite impressive, the show they put on.
Waiting for the next.
And not a team to mess with.
There was a false start, it seems, where they wanted to start and changed their minds. There we go.
D3adShot is going to be getting the... Oh no, 0-4 getting the northeast spawn. So he's a little closer to uplink. Which means he could be looking for an early fight onto D3adShot. And wait and see. An interesting choice of M16A4 with the irons. It's not seen a lot in today's league, but could he perform with it? He's going very hard and wide on lane 4. It's looking like he's going to apply early pressure onto D3adShot, but D3adShot is just playing that window spot. Will he be able to spot out 04? But 04 gets into a pad position. That is what I've found. D3adShot's spot is something you have to pre-fire because there's not much way of seeing someone in that spot. But 04 does get the crossing. D3adShot won't expect this. 04 could use the element of surprise, but he's going to get the util out. D3adShot's got to be making some assumptions. 04 is pressuring the cap. He's on it. But D3adShot is able to pre-fire through that smoke and catch 04 out.
Now, had 04 maybe placed that smoke there, waited until after the pre-fire and then gone in, maybe it would have been able to pull it off, but D3adShot knew he was there, just pre-fired through the smoke and caught him out.
Yeah, he could have applied pressure on D3adShot with that smoke. D3adShot could get a bit shaky and assume that 04 is going to be going for that cap and rotate out of his spot, so 04 could have countered him there. But overall, the attempt was there with that smoke. It was good placement, but he did commit to it too much. It was quite a fast round. Shows that he wastes no time in getting power positions against D3adShot, who does like to sit back there on defense.
Right, on to
So
the next
the
round. 04 on defense for a garage objective now.
How should I do this one? I don't know if I just like not let him pass or if I should go center.
bit of self-narration from 04.
Yeah.
Sounds like an anime character. You're going to take an early position in open house. You're going to be waiting for audio around that center bit, but if he doesn't catch it, D3adShot could slip past. D3adShot taking lane 3 red car, expecting anything from lane 3 and the top side of spawn house. But they're both going to sit tight, and D3adShot's going to commit to lane 4 again. He's taking his time to check his angles.
D3adShot's checking his tablet, and does he have a drone, or is he just checking to see that in fact he is by himself?
It's unlikely he has a drone because he's on that rifleman, but
Yeah,
he is committing quite wide to lane 4, but it's going to play into his favour because there is no angle from 04 to see him there until he gets to the burning house, where D3adShot is able to look out the windows and maybe deny a cross. I think on this objective particularly, it is quite important to take your power positions, especially as there's no one really contesting it. Like, the likelihood of contesting any spot in the map is quite low if there's only one person you're against. So that could be a key way of taking 1v1s and surprising your opponents by being in spots where they don't think you'll be. But yeah, 3 minutes 30 left on the clock. D3adShot has enough time to clear what he needs to get onto that uplink.
Looks like he's trying to clear the positions 04 was in previously. Playing it nice
Being
and slow,
careful
trying
not to give away any audio.
I think he's suspecting 04 could be on the other side of these blocks, and that's why he's moving so slow. Maybe not.
It could be suspecting that 04 is more of an audio-based player and wants to sort of deny that play style by being as slow as he can and silent.
It's going to go onto the slide, it seems. D3adShot really using every second he's got, and he's not making a lot of noise.
He could be coming into the region of challenging 04 anytime soon. He makes some noise. D3adShot, 2 minutes 30. He's got to make a move since he's given away his position. 04 knows where he is. He's bringing out pre-fire. Could be bait for 04. But 04 is going to be sitting tight. He's not going to catch that. The commendable play to try and draw your opponents out their spots, but 04 doesn't seem to be budging. So D3adShot, with 2 minutes left, he's got to start taking some positions. Otherwise, he can't get much done on that crossing.
They're using what seems to be a flashbang to maybe flash to porch position. Still looking for common spots, pre-firing them.
D3adShot does seem to be suspecting a spawn house spot, but it looks like it's going to be taking open house.
Oh, he's going to be coming into 04 just in a second now.
He gets straight up in face and outguns 04 with a nice headshot.
Yeah, there 04's leg was slightly clipping through the floor, which is very unfortunate, and also he gave away his position with those shots just too early before he could get the kill on D3adShot.
Perhaps 04 could have sat in the little cubby to take D3adShot by surprise, because it is actually quite deep. And it's a good place to hide and peek out. Or there's multiple spots like the table. But 04 did try and get that. He did seem... It seemed like 04 would win that fight, but D3adShot was able to get his gun up in time.
I see 04 apparently checking the tablet, but on the caster view he didn't have a tablet in his hand, so it was odd. Right. There we go, we're moving to the next one with 04 on attack. This is the grey car objective in the northwest. D3adShot seems to be taking a traditional position on the north side of lane 2. See what
04 is committing hard and fast into this lane 2, suspecting a lane 1 Hesco spot, but would he check all the positions that D3adShot could be in? D3adShot just playing behind that bush, quite a common spot, and if your head is peeking and someone can catch it out, it could be quite an easy headshot, but 04 is going to have to cross D3adShot's line of fire to get onto that uplink, but he does opt in to take lane 2 more. Be difficult for D3adShot because he has 4 lanes to watch from that position if he doesn't want anybody to cross, especially on that lane 4 side. 04's decided to check the back lines, but coming out of this bush could be quite difficult because there's a lot to check and your body can be exposed, and of course it is a pre-fireable bush there, so, or penetrable rather, and so if you're caught there, then could be quite an easy shot for your opponent. But D3adShot is going to be peeking out a little bit, which 04 could spot, but he is crouched, so it's unlikely at the moment. 04 is taking the silent approach, and it's going to be extremely hard for D3adShot to actually spot him here, and at least suspect him in this spot, because he is quite wide out with 3 minutes left. D3adShot. Seems he's taken his back, turned his back to 04's position. 04 seems to have spotted him. As soon as he peeks up, it's looking like a headshot. D3adShot peeks out to the right side. 04 does de-engage from the fight. I did believe that he spotted D3adShot out there, but could see an exchange in quite shortly.
I think he's thinking about for the cap, possibly. Yeah, he's smoking it off and he's going for a flash onto D3adShot. I think he's going to try and cap this out.
That is looking like a cap, if I'm honest. If the counter flashes don't hit, then 04 is on uplink. But an excellent flash from D3adShot. D3adShot has seen it. He's read the plays. He's coming around to the left side of 04. But 04 bobs up, giving away his position. They've got to fight. And 04 gets his gun up in time.
Yeah, I saw you try and get that 04. 04 nearly had that there. D3adShot did the right thing with that counter flash though. Had that flash not hit, I have a feeling 04 would have capped that there.
That was a superb flash, but 04 did win that gunfight.
It was good plays from the both of them there. Anyways, I'll be back in a second. I'll let you comment on it. I'll be back in a minute.
So that fight there was reading the positioning and peaks of your opponents And if you get that wrong, then you could be sidewinded quite easily, and you're going to be at a disadvantage in the fight. So I was quite an excellent counter flash from D3adShot. He did clutch the round up from that flash, or at least clutch the cap up, but wasn't able to take the gunfight. D3adShot is surprised at the tension,
I don't know what to do here, man. This is hard.
but he's quite excited about this 1v1, it seems. He's going to be committing early to lane 1 and 2.
Just
Could be going for open house. Does seem like he's going for open house at the moment, trying to deny that lane 1 Hess goes.
I'm back, by the way.
Yep. Yeah, D3adShot just checking the early lane 1 Hess goes, and all lane 1 conglomerate spots. But 04 is just going to be sitting tight right at the north side behind the concrete barrier.
He is clapping a bit, but I'm unsure about what the legality of that would be, because his legs are actually technically not going into a wall. Like, they're on the other side of the fence, but I guess that could have been seen as a dodgy thing.
Right.
Obviously, it's not happening right now, so it's not happening while he's in the fight. But I'm
If I'm
just
honest,
thinking about that now.
it wouldn't particularly change your ability to spot someone in that spot. I mean, all you have to really look for is someone peeking out the left and right side, or the top bit. And it is quite a common spot, but it isn't easy to play against because of that potential of staying low and being behind cover. So unless D3adShot can get some utility on it, it is quite a hard fight to take. And 3 minutes 40 left on the clock. D3adShot is making his way up lane 1. If he takes lane 1 Hesco's, that spot, from my experience, is quite hard to actually play from that left side of the bush.
So yeah,
Because you have to check so much as you swing out.
I think he may have just been using it to check the one position, and then he's rotating off of it, knowing it's a bad way for him to do his final push. Looks like he is intending to maybe go from lane 2 or lane 3, perhaps.
The lane 2 peak would be quite difficult because you have to check your left and your right at the same time. And that is... You have to sort of know where your opponent is if you're going to be playing lane 2, but he does opt to go playground or lane 4 to get that wide peak on to the opponent. Checking lane 3 from the slide, excellent play there. It does seem like he's suspecting any lane 1 pushed up spots, but he's not finding anybody. But he has enough time to get those backlines checked. 2 minutes 30 left on the clock.
So D3adShot is going to go for some peaks in lane 2, going prone so you can only expose himself to the one angle at the time. That is actually a very nice way he's gone prone to check that.
He does decide to sort of commit to that lane 1 side. Going into whack-a-mole, coming out. Just gets a quick shoulder peek onto lane 2 to bait out any shots if they are looking that way. But to no joy.
I want to see... Does he have a grenade on him? Can't... Nope, doesn't.
Putting out pre-fire on the bushes if he caught the head of... It's quite easy to catch the head on that pre-fire of someone if they are sitting there, but unfortunately 04 is still committed to lane 1.
He does seem to be pretty sure that D3adShot's going to come from lane 1, not exposing himself to lane 2 too often. We'll say D3adShot might be thinking about a bait smoke. Well, he was looking like getting in the other direction. Try to work away, saying, what do you? Smoking
does come out
onto the objective with a flashbang out as well, but
better to pre-fire.
Yeah, over pre-fired that fence, seeing where the flashes were coming from, taking out D3adShot. That was a good play from 04 there.
I think if you're going to be attacking that fence there in that position, you've got to expect a pre-fire of someone. If you throw any util over, someone knows you're there and they can sort of triangulate your position. Whereas
you don't even need to triangulate it. Just put in enough bullets and you'll catch them out eventually.
Yes. So if you're going to be putting util out, it's recommendable to stay behind those Hescos so you got as much hard cover as possible. But it is good that 04 expected that rotate after the lane 2 shots, because That is more of an EU tendency to shoot, rotate, and O4 did read that quite nicely.
O4 likely knows about Deadshot being a slow and coordinated player, trying to understand what sort of bait techniques he might be going for and whatnot.
So a
Anyway,
play Deadshot could have made was throw a smoke there and dash to lane 4 and try and cut in behind while O4 is distracted and suspecting lane 1 and 2.
yep. Anyways, we're moving on to the next objective. We're moving on to Humvee objective. This time
Oh, no,
Deadshot will be on defense as one of the newer objectives on Suburbia. Coming out quite a while ago now, but still I'd say it's new because it's not one of any. It's not an original objective.
There's some interesting pre-firing lines if you get certain spawns, which O4 does, so it's interesting to see what utility he took to counter that. But no, there's no LMG to deny that crossing into lane 1 Heskos. I mean, it's more of a team move to do that, but it can clear out positions early game that you need clearing out.
I do see O4 is taking a grenade as well this round, so I'll be interested to see if you'll use that.
Deadshot does opt in to return that pre-fire.
O4 didn't do any pre-fire. All of his pre-fire has just been his.
Didn't particularly respond to Deadshot's pre-fire, so O4 is actually taking the North Street very early game. It's a very bold move to take that crossing. So could be expecting a North 1 attack, which could catch Deadshot off guard if he's exposed there and comes out.
I have a feeling O4 heard where Deadshot's pre-fire was coming from the second burst of it, and he's realised that he has the entire North to himself now. He is completely covered, but Deadshot is looking like he's going to cover the North now as well a little bit. I think Deadshot's going to get peeked off from the back here for realising O4's already crossed over, because O4 has done this extremely early.
Deadshot is straight out in the open. I think a suitable play if Deadshot was holding lane 1 Heskos was to pressure the uplink and then get Deadshot out of lane 1 Heskos to peek him, but Deadshot is actually rotating back.
Yeah, he's rotated to a position where he can cover the back as well as the front now. Still a difficult position to play by yourself, especially for this objective.
Yeah, especially as the cover can be quite shaky because your bum can stick out, which could be an angle that O4 could catch if Deadshot's not careful.
What is creeping along?
Another difficult part about that spot is the counterplay from open house top floor, because if as soon as he rotates, if someone was to be there, then he could get caught out extremely easily, especially from that behind that curtain. But O4 has opted in to take this stealthy approach very slowly. He still has enough time to do what he needs and make any rotates. But if Deadshot does make noise, then O4 could put a flash over and could wrap up the round. And vice versa, of course.
Well, let's see what happens here. O4 is creeping along very silently. I have a feeling O4 is going to come up behind. As long as he makes no noise, he will get a nice pick on Deadshot, I think, here. It's all going to come down to timing, though. If Deadshot's looking this way when O4 peaks, it could go down to a trade.
And we could see a prime example of onward timing here. But O4 is creeping slowly.
Oh, Deadshot is looking this way now, and maybe he heard something.
Got the audio, but if O4 slow picks, he's going to lose his fight. But Deadshot takes his eye off the angle. O4 sees Deadshot and catches his back.
That's all down to timing. Yeah, had O4 peeked that maybe 5 seconds earlier, Deadshot would have seen him and it could have gone down to a trade. Oh, that was close.
That is a textbook example of onward timing. Nothing like that.
Very nice play from O4 there, nice and slow and crossing over very early on based on that pre-fire from Deadshot. And then just taking his time, clearing every angle one at a time, making sure that he was safe when he was doing it.
And Deadshot was holding the right angles, but did unfortunately lose to the onward gods there. So That was a good play from 04, just staying silent all the way and not overcommitting.
And we're into the
It
next
isn't.
round. All for on defense for the Humvee objective now.
It's certainly an interesting spot because it's can be quite easy if Deadshot sidewinds in lane 4. He could be caught out with not much of an answer because that is a hard shot to make,
Oh,
especially with the iron sights. I think we got the trademark iron sights for 04. I've heard rumors about it. So let's see if he can keep up his work with them.
I believe he also uses virtual stock with it, which is a very interesting setup. But not taking a sight does free up more points, allowing you to take armor piercing, body armor, whatever, and extra utility. So
There's fantastic utility to iron sights, but it's a very large skill curve. But if you master it, you can provide huge value to your team. Granted, you can throw grenades well as well. But yeah, Deadshot taking his methodical approach, just clearing out what he needs. But he's going to be quite far away from 04. He's not overcommitting to anything, but staying crouched and low, so he can't get taken, but he does decide to take some more ground, making his way to lane 2. I think he's going to do his prone peek again. Seems like it's a common play that he makes to check those areas. But he's only going to be really challenging 04 when he really commits to lane 2 or lane 1. But
does seem to be very slow and coordinated from Deadshot here. Again, similar stuff as we've seen before, just playing it slow, working out where his opponent might be, trying to limit what he is exposing himself to.
yeah, some dead shot. He does suspect lane 1 Heskos at the moment. But he could go for a fake smoke and a rotate to try and catch 04 out of his spot. But could see if you can apply suitable pressure to uplink to get 04 out that power position.
Problem with O4 is I think you can see the entire objective from just looking under the Humvee, so I don't think he would need to be too worried unless the smoke placement was exceptionally well that it both cut off the cross into the Humvee and him being able to see underneath it. I could see there being a perfect smoke for that, but it would be very difficult placement to get it.
04 is seeming to have the advantage in this situation at the moment because he does have that head peak advantage, and as well as the fact that he's got full coverage of uplink and is covered from most lanes apart from lane 4, so that's one thing he's got to be vigilant of. But if Deadshot is slow peaking this angle, 04 could be on track to catch him out. Deadshot's going to opt in for some utility. The flash comes out. Looking for pre-fire. Looks like it's a bait and switch. Well, 1 minute 20 left on the clock. He has to make a move. Looks like he's trying to get 04 to suspect the bait and switch. But he's actually going to commit back to lane 1. The smoke comes out. 04 has vision denied.
Smoke is right in O4's possession, but O4 has just rotated away from it now. There was a slight bit there where he couldn't see it, and Deadshot's crossed over to the bush now. O4 is going to need to be careful that Deadshot doesn't cross over onto objective. I think this could come down to Onward timing again because O4 is taking his eyes off of the cross every so often.
Deadshot does have onward
quick
timing.
peeked it, not seeing
it.
it.
Shoulder peek.
Oh, and if Deadshot has crossed over, it could have been a cap, but he decides against it. Oh, this is all going to come down to timing. O4 has gone to his original position now.
But he's overexposed, and 04 catches him out. Wasn't able to just tuck in there and take the fight another day. Just as his right side was exposed to 04, he did lose that fight, making it a 5-on-2 for 04.
Well, it is 5-2 to 0-4 now.
Deadshot there did sort of make the suitable play in making that smoke to deny vision, but it didn't land perfectly, which meant 0-4 could still linger around that spot. And because Deadshot took his time, the smoke expired and Deadshot was no longer covered from that angle. So the thought was there, but 0-4 was able to get the drop on Deadshot.
So if you're new to this league is first 8 points with a max of 15 rounds to win.
Deadshot opting in for the pre-fire on lane 3. 0-4 hasn't left his spawn. 0-4 code on his head now, looking for a cap to try and close things out a bit more. But he's going to take the power position of open house. 0-4 does seem to be expecting someone pushed up near mid, so he's going quite slowly to try and mitigate any quick peeks from Deadshot if he was there. For making his way into playground. As Deadshot holds the grey card, that is quite an exposed spot. It can work to some avail, but if 0-4 takes lane 4, it could be detrimental for Deadshot, although he does have that large bush as cover. It's going to be difficult for him to fight in that position because that car has limited use of cover. O4 going wide on that lane 4. He could be countering Deadshot's spot. Staying low so he doesn't get peeked from quite far away in terms of lane 1. But he has enough time to make as much ground as he wants. Deadshot has relocated behind the Hescos watching lane 3. He's suspecting sort of a playground push. But if 0-4 gets the crossing, he could catch Deadshot out. Deadshot does seem to be shifting focus to lane 4, which could be bad for 0-4. Doesn't seem like he's going to commit to a peak yet.
I think he's just missed 0-4 crossing over. 0-4 might be going for a similar strategy to last time where he's just going to sneak up behind Deadshot, silent the whole way there.
Deadshot is sort of holding his spot in a league setting, but isn't exposing himself to any sort of potential 1v1 settings where people can come from anywhere. But Deadshot does make a rotate to lane 2, so he's getting far away from 0-4. But from that position, it could be easier for him to take a fight with 0-4, especially if 0-4 is caught in that open area.
Deadshot's moving to possibly lane 4. 0-4 is going to hear this here. Is Deadshot going to see him? Deadshot does.
Deadshot got eagle eyes there, able to spot out 0-4. Superb play. And he did rotate at the right time, which caught him the win. So Deadshot is on track to bring it back from a 3-5. He's got to work hard to get this back though, because 0-4 is showing some good skill in terms of 1v1ing and forecasting where Deadshot will be.
And always want to 0-4's defense of the red car now.
Yes. It's quite a difficult uplink to actually get a cap on because there's so many angles you are exposed to while you are on that cap. But in a 1v1 situation, it will be obvious if you are going for the cap. But if they have no counter flash at the ready, there's probably not much you can do against it if you're sitting in that back line at the north. think 04 is having dog problems. It does happen in the middle of games. The animals, the duty calls. But 04 is going to be committing hard into mid, trying to take power positions. Could be catching D3adShot off guard if D3adShot doesn't hear anything. D3adShot getting positioning of his own in open house, but has given himself away. So 04 could respond to when he rotates out of open house. We'll see how much 04 puts into this open house commit. Because if he gets up there, he could get the drop on D3adShot, but also he could lose the cap if D3adShot is able to sneak out and 04's caught in that open house. D3adShot's making his way into playground. He's going a bit faster pace, but 04's not going to be exposed to him unless D3adShot comes into lane 4. 04's got to be on guard there. He does choose to push up, actually, which could be harder for D3adShot to make that shot. 04 swings wide, but D3adShot is able to lock onto that head. Superb flick up from D3adShot there.
I have a feeling 04 may have been getting a bit bored of D3adShot hanging back at the start of every round, so he decided to push up a lot more aggressive that time. Basically getting across the other side of the map from his spawn, and didn't pay off sadly.
I believe D3adShot sort of decided to switch up his tactic of playing dead slow and sort of speeding up a little bit so he can cover more ground and not allow for that many rotates from 04, and is able to counteract 04's aggressive play there. I think 04 gave enough audio cue to give D3adShot a radar of where he is, and D3adShot was ready for that fight. Alternatively though, if he did crouch walk through the playground, D3adShot could have swung wide onto that lane 4 and taken him. But it's a new round. The uplink is burning house again. 04 choosing lane 1. D3adShot could be looking for an open house take, which could actually counter 04's positioning.
Look, he's going to sit in the porch of centre house.
That could be difficult for 04 to make any moves without making any noise.
D3adShot is moving, he's going to catch off, 04's going to catch off D3adShot as he tries to rotate back.
Somewhat lazy positioning to lane 1. Obviously, of course he did not expect it, but...
I will say D3adShot had second thoughts about where he wanted to go.
Yeah. Did cost him the round. There's still potential for a comeback for D3adShot, but 04 has it locked up quite nicely at the moment. It's the art of the variety that is catching each other off guard now. They're playing quite unpredictably, which caught D3adShot out in the open.
Anyways, on to the next round. 04's defence now. Only 2 more rounds he must claim to take home the victory today.
Free fire coming out from D3adShot. Making his way to lane 4. He wants to get early on that uplink and apply pressure. But 04 has decided to take spawn house, second floor, as his position. But they don't call D3adShot for nothing. He could be able to get that headshot onto 04 if he's peeking out that window too much.
Like, they are playing a bit faster now, but D3adShot has sat down, holding an angle, looking for an overpeak from 04. But 04 is not going to be there. 04 has opted to stay second floor in the spawn house, just holding an angle onto the objective. This could be a cap for D3adShot if he plays this fight, but it's all up to the timings and how he decides to go about it.
Yes, D3adShot. He's actually decided to go for his slower approach now, and wants to make sure everything's clear before he makes a move onto uplink, which is certainly a hard uplink to attack whilst you're in a 1v1 situation, because there's so many backline spots that you expose yourself to, and the utility doesn't prove effective unless you've got a lot of people stacked up on that objective taking bullets for you, as if you want to take that cap. But D3adShot is still going to be committing to playground. Seems 0-4 has a line on that hard lane 4.
Keeps rotating his view, looking for a possible D3adShot coming from another direction. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
It could be difficult for 0-4 to respond if D3adShot is able to sneak onto that curved barricade there.
D3adShot is close to overpeaking himself to 0-4. It could just come down to timings here. What 0-4 is looking at when D3adShot's peaking it. But D3adShot has decided to opt out and rotate somewhere else instead. I wonder if he's going to try and rotate all the way to lane 1 to, as we've seen him do a few times before, where he rotates to the other side.
I believe D3adShot is suspecting some sort of dynamic play from 0-4, but it's not the case, as 0-4 is just holding the angle.
I think 0-4 might have just seen D3adShot there, and D3adShot I think must have seen 0-4 as well. Right onto his head. That was a nice shot from D3adShot there.
0-4 was caught off guard there, just making his way. I think most of that round D3adShot was suspecting that 0-4 would be pushed up and trying to get behind D3adShot or come through to his side, but at the end of the day he was just sitting in spawn house, and D3adShot was able to counterplay that by peeking slowly and staying low. But yeah, now we've got a very exciting uplink, which is the open house. We see some CQC. It's interesting to see what spots they'll take, because there's a decent variety of about 4-ish spots that you can take in open house to cover that uplink, and you're sort of gambling whenever you go in to check each one in each order, and if you check the wrong ones you can be led to fast death because of that CQC potential. D3adShot denying the lane 3 crossing with the pre-fire, but 0-4's committing hard to lane 1. Yeah, he's not wasting any time getting up in D3adShot's face, and D3adShot hasn't actually made it into open house.
0-4, it is very possible to catch D3adShot off crossing over
D3adShot
again. Oh, the timings there.
Unbelievable onward timing.
Oh my god. 0-4 might still suspect D3adShot's in the spawn house, and you must hear D3adShot. You must have heard D3adShot cross. He's not heard D3adShot crossover, but Jesus, that should have been a free kill for 0-4 again there.
That was absolutely textbook timing. D3adShot, he gambled and he won.
That was a risky move from D3adShot.
Oh, shit, my guy.
D3adShot here's 0-4.
Exchange between the two. But 0-4's going to be holding that window. D3adShot swings out and is able to come past 0-4's sight and take the shot. D3adShot saved by the onward gods, but does play very nicely to counter 0-4 with that flash out the window, denying that area so he can focus on that doorway. That was an excellent play from D3adShot, but 0-4 was a bit shafted by that timing, which is quite unfortunate, but it's brought it to an exciting 6-6 in open house. There's nothing more that you can have. So D3adShot is still in the game. He's proved that he's worth 0-4's time, and they could be looking for a nice wrap up to the series.
Right, and this has been a very, very good fight so far. Quite even. It was an 0-4 lead at the start for quite most of this game, and D3adShot has taken it back to an even match. Let's see if you can keep this going, and who's going to ultimately end up taking this home. Same objective. 0-4 is moving to, it seems to be a centre house position, most likely. A nade coming over into lane. No, I thought that was a nade that could have caught D3adShot out. Flashbang over into lane 2.
Grenade. But that grenade positioning is absolutely excellent if you're expecting a rush into open house, but the flash was sort of worth the utility just to clear that area out temporarily so O4 could make it into his spot. D3adShot is holding back. He doesn't want to be hit by any flashes in that lane 2 area because it can be quite devastating because there's so many angles people can come from. But he's got to be silent here because there's so much cover against D3adShot's favor. And O4 could use flashes to his advantage, especially if he gets audio on D3adShot. But yeah, the center area of Suburbia is certainly a high action area and quite unpredictable and scary to play against because there's so many little bits and pieces of cover. You got to be knowing exactly where they are if you want to be taking that shot.
I think D3adShot
I
might.
assume O4's going to deviate from his spot.
D3adShot's crossing over. This is down to Onward teams again. O4 was not in position. If D3adShot just moves in, D3adShot's in the house now. O4 was not in position. D3adShot's going to go for the cap. O4 is not on the objective. Is D3adShot going to cap?
O4's got no time. D3adShot
Oh
on the
no.
cap.
And the cap comes out and D3adShot wins.
No sound, dude.
No sound because O4 was too far away from open house. But D3adShot, wow.
And O4
Really
takes
got
it.
past O4. And O4
Yeah, sorry, D3adShot
didn't
takes
take
it.
his eyes off his angle.
Had O4 just sat down, held his position, he would have caught off D3adShot. So many times I was down to Onward timing. He had in the last 2 rounds, some very, very unfortunate Onward timings for both, actually last 3, both sides. D3adShot getting caught off in one, O4 missing D3adShot in another, and then finally in that one, O4 missing D3adShot and letting D3adShot get onto the objective.
I think we can sort of compliment the speed of the cap there. He gave O4 no time. It's absolutely impossible for him to respond to that.
Yeah, we
So-
saw the D3adShot cleared the entire of upstairs and moved into the side room to get the cap where he knew he'd be safe and have the time before O4 could rotate in. Even if O4 at that point went as quickly as possible, I doubt he would have stopped D3adShot there.
But it's great. It's great that D3adShot had the confidence to just go and send it in, and it did pay off.
Anyways, that wraps up for this 1v1. Hope the cast has been alright. This was What to Sign Hour, and T, you want to sign out?
Excellent fight. It was fun to watch, and they were quite par on each other for most of that game, but it did come down to timing and sort of dedication to the angle to sort of change the outcome of that match. And D3adShot was able to clutch up from that quite a low loss at the start, but he did manage to prevail, and it wasn't what I expected, to be honest. O4 had a very certain lead leading up to that, but D3adShot did clutch it up, and that was quite respectable in that manner. He played slow, he played methodical, and cleared out what he needed to. Whereas we did see sort of O4 throwing a few rounds here and there because there was a bit of impatience we saw, but O4 did have very good skill. He showed a great demonstration of skill there, and he's not to be messed with.
Some good plays from both of them there, and I'm going to sign us out now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later.
Thank you very much.